Gotta be true to yourself. In a world there's nothing else. Gotta play the game right, gotta make your path. You scratch, you dig, you laying your ground, you busting your rounds. Nobody gon' stop you. No ops, no cops, everything about you looking good, you good, she good. Y'all people really wanna know the reason? It's that ripple effect. That's just that ripple. That's just that ripple effect. What you do, come back.
Okay, that black and ripple effect, you know what it is, and you already know the vibe. Shout out to all the supporters, all the new subscribers. Guys, check me out on TikTok. That's getting some traction. I appreciate you guys. I'm not even on there like that, but you know, apparently I need to be on there like that. Check me out on Facebook, Instagram. Y'all already know what it is. Man, I love the NBA season. I'm glad it's back. Listen, I know a lot of y'all. I've been getting some angry mail from some other fellow Knicks fans, and I understand. People think I overreacted to the first game, and people are like, "Oh, but we won last night. We beat the Hawks." Listen, you know how some games. I'm not trying to say, yeah, we got the win in the win column, yeah, but did we really win that game, or did we just give away that game? Like, we should have lost that game. I mean, the Hawks just had the problems of their own with Capella missing that. Really, that's not our problem, right? Point is, we should have lost that game. And here's the other thing. I'm glad that, you know, guys are still, you know, getting into their rhythm and still trying to prove something. You know, R.J. Barrett and the rest of these guys, and that's great. And that's great. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to compete for a championship. I know a lot of people can't see that. When you've been losing for so long, any little win is good, and I'm not trying to, you know, take away from that. I'm just trying to say we need to keep building upon that. What this showed us, and even if the guys still start playing well, I'm not trying to take away from that. Like, if R.J. Barrett starts doing this, Mitchell Robinson gets out of foul trouble, and he's doing that for us. He's rebounding. He's doing a little bit of everything. You know, and I know he's, you know, probably not as excited because he's not, like, one of the focal points of, you know, of our offense. And sorry, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like it's a system thing. And you have Julius Randle, and we're not really sure sometimes what we're getting out of him. And, you know, we know his ability, all-star potential, and sometimes we just don't know, and we don't know if it's just a system, because you can tell when guys are comfortable. You know how you can tell? Watch the Milwaukee Bucks. Some guys just fit. I mean, you throw Dame in there, you know, I mean, you don't have Jrue Holiday. I mean, Jrue Holiday, I don't think people realize his value. I think since when he's with the Celtics, you're starting to really understand that. You know what I mean? It's so important. And even, you kind of question that even with the Celtics, even if you want to go there, about, that's like the only thing, but you can tell they're getting more comfortable, right? Because I just fear that Jalen Brown still hasn't found his footing yet, because Porzingis is, I don't think anybody saw this coming. I knew that was going to be a good pick, and I said, you know, as long as he's healthy, a lot of these guys is really, I mean, that's for anybody, right? If you're healthy, you know, but, I mean, when Porzingis is healthy, we're talking about him being an all-star. Look at the numbers he's putting up already. But at the same time, it's almost like Jalen Brown might have to take a back seat to that. I mean, I don't know. That's the way it looks, and that's probably the way that things are going to be going. Even Joe Mazzulla actually alluded to a lot of guys are going to be, you know, having to sacrifice. And I think we're already starting to see some of those sacrifices. And now whether guys have bought into that, I mean, only time will tell. We'll see throughout the course of the season of how things go. And, you know, because as you know, it's been growing pains, but the Celtics are used to being there. They're always in the hunt. They're always in the race. But just to go back to the Knicks, for you guys to understand, we're so close. We're so close because I feel like we do have the right coach in place. We do have the right system. We have guys in place. You know, we have the Brunson. We have the Josh Hart who just got paid. You know, I like Grimes. I know he made that mistake late in against the Hawks last night with the turnover. Listen, that stuff happens. I'm not gonna trade you because of that. You know, we still have a solid, you know, we know where we want to go. And we have Quickly. Can't forget about Emmanuel Quickly and what he's doing and how he's looking for his contract. And he's looking like he deserves it. He's been putting in the work on the off season. So I mean, but when it comes to Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, Mitchell Robinson, R.J. Barrett, guys that were being discussed in that trade. Listen, let me tell you why this is important, especially why it's even more important that they play well before the trade deadline, right? This is why the Knicks are not going to be so quick to say, okay, let's trade them, because they want to build up their value. So either way, you know what I mean? If let's say if they don't play up to their potential, if they're not as better, or if they're not better than they were last year, then then obviously the fans are gonna get on board like that. They're gonna say, yeah, you're right. We need to trade them, right? But if they do well, here's the thing. That's more of a bargaining chip for us, because maybe we don't have to trade that many guys away in order to get an Embiid. For instance, because I already told you about that situation, and with James Harden and all that, and Embiid can't be happy in that situation, and that may work out well for us, right? So understand that it's more than just that. I know a lot of people, it's just so easy. If you're not playing bad, trade you. If you're playing good, keep you. Sometimes it's not that simple. It's just who's going to fit in the system. How can we get a superstar over to our team, a reigning MVP over to our team? That's what the conversation should be about, because if we're not trying to winning a championship, then what are we even talking about? Well, what are we doing? We trying to just be mediocre? Nah, we're good with that. As Knicks fans, we deserve more. It's okay to want more. I know people are scared, they're hesitant. We don't want to give away the farm like we've done in years past, but this is not necessarily giving away the farm. We have a ton of first-round picks. It's the reason why we stocked all those picks is so we can be able to go get a Joel Embiid. That was the whole point. And if a guy like R.J. Barrett is doing better than we anticipated, then that's even better. Maybe we don't have to give up some other players, or maybe we can keep him and maybe give up, more just the picks. Maybe an Evan Fournier, Mitchell. It just depends on how you go with it. But if you think about it, I know some people are throwing in Harvey Stein. Nah, I want Harvey Stein on the Knicks. Why? He's that energy guy. He's the guy that's gonna muck it up. That's what you want in the playoffs. Remember, we're trying to compete, in the playoffs. And when you think about guys, like those dogs, that's really gonna take you over the hump. That's really gonna get you there when you gotta get to the free throw line. Maybe be able to take guys out of their game. You've seen how he plays. You've seen, I would not. No, he is not. Absolutely not. He could back up and be 100%. That's gonna be his role, and I can see that right now. Like Evan Fournier's not even playing right now, so that's not even a conversation. And Mitchell Robinson, like I said, I like his game. I saw his potential, and I still see it. I just don't know if I see it in this system. It may work well in another system. Maybe with the Bulls. Maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe even with the Bulls. With the Bulls, I just said that. Maybe even with the Hawks, I can see that happening. I don't, no offense to Clint Capella, but I don't see Mitchell Robinson missing too many of those lob passes, especially late in the game to get it done. I don't see that happening. But, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, y'all got to stay with me when it comes to this. Trust me when it comes to this. We would not be giving away the farm. Like, we're not talking about giving away Josh Hart or Jalen Brunson, because if you think about it, those are the glue guys. Those are the core guys. You got to find your core guys and then know this is our team. This is the essence of our team. Can't trade away the essence of your team unless you're getting something super like crazy, like in return. And even if you are, you still got to question it, because at the end of the day, if you're giving up a piece of your DNA, then what does that mean? Then you know what I mean? Then it's like you kind of have like that identity crisis. And I think a lot of teams in the past have suffered that. Even when you look at the Mavs, when Porzingis used to be with the Mavs and with Luka, and you're thinking superstars, like, oh my God, like, as long as Porzingis health, right? And then you have Luka and them doing their thing and working off each other, like, oh my God, like that should have been a match made in heaven. But it's not just plug and play. It don't work like that. It's a chemistry thing. It's a field thing. They got rid of their identity, so now they had to reinvent themselves. That's why they wanted to get Kyrie in. You could, feel however you want to feel, but at the end of the day, they showed you the other night how well they can play together. I mean, and this time they're getting a whole season together. Barring anything else, they're able to play together, and you can see how the team is ran. And like I said, they got their own things going on, because they're not going to necessarily be able to compete in the West with their presently constructed roster. That's just reality of it. The West it's not a game, and neither is the East. But I'm telling you, Knicks fans, stick with me. Understand what we're trying to do here. it's gonna make so much more sense in the end. But the point is, Knicks basketball is gonna be better. It's gonna be better for the future, and that's what we have to keep our minds on. But I digress. Listen, who is so happy that the NBA is back? I mean, it's to the point where you're watching a couple of games at once. It's crazy, and I almost hate like those football Thursday night games because I'm like, come on, man. 'Cause now I gotta, really be switching back and forth between the NFL and the NBA. But it's all good. It's all part of it. It's fun. Like this is what we do. But Victor Wembanyama, he got his first win. Very happy for him. It's mad funny how he's like, oh, this is like the best. Winning is like the best thing ever, and it's really fun to hear him say it. Remember, he's only 19. He's getting his first taste of being in the NBA, being in America, being around all of this, and what winning really means and what it entails, and understand why people make such a big deal about it. It's everything, especially the Spurs organization, and knowing that they're a first class organization. They definitely deserve a guy like Wembanyama, and they deserve wins, right? You gotta, and Coach Pop, the coach he's been, and all the different coaches that he's created because of. I mean, come on, man. Like it just speaks for itself, right? So I'm loving the fact that NBA is back, but we're gonna get into a little bit of NFL because I know a lot of people are wondering, is Jimmy G coming back? Nah, you're not really wondering now, are you? But yeah, he is gonna be back, from what I'm hearing. So on Sunday, tomorrow, check it out. See what the Raiders are up to. See if Devontae Adams is gonna hopefully get the touches that he needs to get in order for him to really show his potential, because I can only imagine a guy like that with all the potential in the world and not getting the ball out there and just running routes and just seeming like you just want to track me all day, and that can't be any fun. But we're gonna see. We'll see how they bounce back. I know there was a lot of talk about the 49ers, and them, starting to look human, and Brock Purdy was out because we didn't even know that he was on the concussion protocol, and everybody was worried, and I had a feeling he was coming back, and I know some people were asking me like, oh, is he 100%? You think he's coming back? And I'm like, listen, it's this simple. Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. He was thrusted into a role, you know what I mean, when the 49ers lost like 3 quarterbacks. You know what I mean? Like, that was never supposed to happen in one game. So when you are being given an opportunity like that, and he is taking that opportunity and ran with it, win on after win after win. I mean, understanding Kyle Shanahan's offense. I mean, totally embraced himself. And yeah, he's made mistakes here and there, but for the most part, he don't even look human out there. He doesn't even look like he was Mr. Irrelevant. Most people, if you're the casual fan and maybe don't know that, and you're just watching him and you're like, wow, this guy is like incredible. What round did he get drafted in? Like last, bro. Like dead last. He's still fighting for a spot though, guys. For him to be out, he knows firsthand what happens when you stay out too long, right? Somebody's gonna take your spot. It's next man up. Like NFL is full of that. Remember, they're not. I mean, yeah, they'll have their stars, but it's all about the shield. Teams. When it comes to the NFL, people are not necessarily rooting for players. They're rooting for their team, and then the players on said team. They're not about that life. So, understand. I'm glad he has such a. I mean, I really hope. I'm not even trying to say like he should be playing hurt. I mean, I really hope that he is 100%. But to me, there was no doubt in my mind that he was not playing, because when you're in his position, and they said he's still roommates, with one of his teammates, and this is the starting quarterback of the 49ers. We're talking about one of the best teams in the NFL. Probably second behind the Eagles, right? I mean, it's like in the NFC. For you, Chiefs fans and everything else. I mean, it was just without question. You don't think that's on his mind? Trade deadlines are coming up, and not saying that he's gonna be a part of it, but you want to be in that pick. You still want to be that guy. You want to show people that you are that guy. I mean, you know how the NFL is, or any sports league, or any professional, type of entertainment type of thing. Yo, it's what have you done for me lately? People don't care what you did 2-3 weeks ago. People are already forgetting that, the Chiefs won last year. Nobody cares. Nobody thinks about that. They're thinking about right here, right now. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do in the playoffs? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna bounce back from last game? That's all they care about. And I kind of have an appreciation for the fact that that's on his mind. And 49ers are a problem, and they're gonna continue to be a problem. And they don't want to let up, and they want to let teams know that they're not letting up. They're not letting up. And Debo, he's gonna be out for a little while. So I guess he's also thinking about that too. Come on, man. It's a sports. These guys are tough, and they're not just sitting out to sit out. And I truly do believe that. And don't get me wrong. This some guys, you may probably question, but I think that's like such a small percentage. We can't even act like that's everybody. Like that's. But just so you know, with the Dolphins, man, Jalen Ramsey's supposed to be coming back, y'all. Listen, like, the Dolphins are already a whole cheat code, and then you got Jalen Ramsey on the other side of the ball now. I mean, that's going to be something. It was kind of funny, though, because I know when those reports came out, Jalen Ramsey was like, oh, really? I am cleared? I didn't even know that. Like he didn't know he was prepared to, to play, but that's gonna be nuts, guys. I mean, I can't wait to just look at the whole lineup. I think it's like 16 teams that's playing tomorrow. It's a lot. It's a lot of teams that's playing tomorrow, and you got to sit there and really figure out where, because right now we're at a crucial part in the NFL. It's the middle of the season. I think this is where you're really going to start to figure out who teams really are. I know people are really starting to figure out, what are the Bengals doing? Is the Bengals, are they going to turn around? What's going to happen? They questioned Joe Burrow, and Joe Burrow said he's 100% with that calf, right? So if you're 100%, then, it's like, so we're expecting for you guys to look like, the Bengals of old. Like, the Bengals that trying to make some noise, trying to compete with, Patrick Mahomes and those boys. But, I mean, at the end of the day, the AFC, man, that's going to be difficult. And you look at the Ravens, and I feel like the Ravens only just begun. You got Odell just getting back into the mix, and Lamar showing you he's holding on to the ball for like 2 seconds, in the pocket to make that, touchdown, that winning drive. Like that's crazy. That's like, sometimes, I mean, if you're a defensive coordinator, you're like, man, I'm not going to compete with that. Like, that don't even make no sense. I mean, and you have the Bills winning the other night. Listen, it's like up, down, left, right. You don't know which way teams are going to go, but this is the time where you really got to tune in. And I'm hearing for the Giants, Danny, he's not going to be back this week, but he may be back the next week. And I'm like, Danny, take your time, bro. Nobody's rushing you back, man. Take your time, please. Please, let Tyrod Taylor do his thing, especially if he's winning. Because it's like, let's say Tyrod Taylor wins tomorrow, right? We're playing against the Jets, right? It's a lot of rivalry games tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of rivalries, a lot of, and it's like, come on, man, don't ruin it. Because like I said, what if we win against the Jets, right? So that means we got 2 games in a row. We're on a 2-game winning streak, right? 2-game winning streak. And then you're going to put Danny Dimes in, and we're going to lose again, and then what? Then what? Everybody's gonna be asking questions. I'm not gonna be asking questions. I'm just gonna be mad. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're not trying to win? Like, come on, man. Like, but y'all already know. I'm gonna end this right here because there are a lot of basketball games on tonight, and you already know that there's a lot of football games on tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get in another episode for y'all, just for y'all, right before, everything kicks off, and thank goodness there's no, games overseas where I gotta wake up extra early just to combat that. But y'all already know, I don't mind. But I only asked y'all to remember one thing: losses equals life lessons.
Gotta be true to yourself. In a world there's nothing else. Gotta play the game right, gotta make your path. You scratch, you dig, you lay in your ground. You bustin' your rounds, nobody gon' stop you. No ops, no cops, everything about you. Looking good, you good, she good. Y'all people really wanna know the reason. It's that ripple effect. That's just that ripple. That's just that ripple effect. What you do